Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Ooh, who's on your mug?
It is Jake Gyllenhaal as Mother Madonna
Oh,
with the
wait.
with the
Stop
lamb.
it. Stop it. Right. You really love Jake, right?
My son got that for me for my
Oh,
birthday.
that's so sweet. Somebody got me, actually, someone I just had one general meeting with who was wanted to be a writer, and I mentioned how much I loved Paul Mescal. Although, if I really love him that much, I should know if it's Mescal or Mescal. Which is it?
Mescal.
It's Mescal. I love that man. And so then in the mail, I just got a mug sent to me from a person I met once on Zoom that said, I heart Paul Mescal and I love drinking out of it.
Abdi, my other coffee mug is another birthday gift from him with Paul Mescal
No,
that says
no.
my Irish boyfriend.
I, you
It's
know, I have,
crazy.
I have an Irish thing. I don't know if we've ever discussed this. I mean, I also have a UK thing, but Ireland is like
Okay.
one of I have a real Irish thing. The music, the authors, the culture. I've traveled there. I'm very inspired by Ireland.
I am very inspired by
And
Ireland's yes, and what they are.
Ireland knows where to find the boys and the booze, let me tell you.
Oh my gosh. All right, that's all staying in.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back, Abdi. We're back. We started our adventure into talking about Confessions 2 last week, and not surprisingly, it needs it needed a part 2 because we didn't even get halfway through the album. But
Yeah,
that's seems par for the course for us.
absolutely. And maybe we'll
Yeah.
be back in like 8 months when she does the Club Confessions album, which I'm convinced she's going to do.
Exactly. There is more coming. There is
I
more
think there's
coming.
more coming. I think Club Confessions is coming to be announced with a tour. I have a whole theory.
Okay, perfect. Do you want to get into it now?
Sure. I
Do
mean,
it.
my
Let's do
theory
it.
is that there will be a tour
Yes.
and that alongside the tour, and that the tour will be called Club Confessions. And that alongside the tour will be a remix album called Club Confessions, which will have some existing remixes of the songs we know and a whole lot of new songs and a lot more featured guests, including ones that have already been kind of like baked into the era, like Charlie,
Yeah.
Shy Girl. There's just like people who've been peppered in where I'm like, oh, they're gonna pop up. I could
Hmm.
be wrong. This could all be wishful thinking.
No, I think you're right. Just the same way that the Kylie collab was telegraphed months in
Yes.
advance, which is
Yes.
which is fine. It's great. Yeah, I completely agree. I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
Like it feels that way, right? And like when Charlie showed up at the I think it was the London or I can't remember Paris, maybe one of the European club conventions,
Yeah.
and Stewart started remixing the Charlie Madonna. I'm like, this is happening.
Hmm. It was so funny coming right off of her cheeky, dance music is dead. We're, doing rock
Yeah.
music now. And it was such
Well,
a funny thing to say, but intentional too in the context of, what would be coming.
100%. And also Charlie's version of rock music is Her American Life, as I think I mentioned that last time. It
Yes.
is, her music fashion film is my favorite Charlie album, and it's so American Life. And I say that as a compliment, not I know there's a lot of arguments these days about like who's ripping off who or whatever. I think I say that as a like it's a masterpiece, not as a you ripped anyone off.
Exactly. I love it.
Um, yes, yes.
All right,
And
let's dive in. So in episode 1 of this, which was really episode 16, we did the first 7 songs. I Feel So Free, Good for the Soul, One Step Away, Bring Your Love, Danceteria, Read My Lips, and Everything. And now that we were just talking a little bit about collabs, we go right into Love Sensation. But let's talk about the album version first, and then a little bit about
yeah,
what happened after.
yeah.
I love Love Sensation. There's something funny about it that it sounds very similar to Bring Your Love,
Hmm.
but I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
I it's funny. So I love Love Sensation. My memories of Love Sensation, and I don't associate with Bring Your Love, are mostly wrapped up with the fact that I was at the first Club Confessions, I believe. I hope I'm not wrong about that, in Los Angeles,
Mhm.
as close to Madonna as I am to my Zoom screen right now. And the thing that I remember most about that Club Confessions was hearing Love Sensation for the first time. It was so loud and so frenetic that you couldn't make out the actual songs. It was kind of like there was so much rush of sound and energy and sensorial experience. But I remember the melody of Love Sensation so well. Like it stuck with me after I left that night. I'm like, what was that song?
Yeah.
And and so when it finally came out, it's like, yes, it's that song that she played at Club Confession. So for me, it just like brings back such beautiful memories because that night really was magic. I mean, I don't know. Did you get to go to a Club Confessions?
No, I did
No.
not. I
Okay.
probably would have disintegrated into dust.
I know. It really was special. And look, like I'm very lucky in that like I was at the Roxy during the Ray of Light appearance and I've gotten myself into these sometimes these Madonna club nights in the past. But like I'm as many Madonna fans. I'm an aging dad. I have two teenage kids. I have a job. I like to go to bed on time. There are, and I always say this, I'm like, there is one person who can get me to stay awake past midnight, and her name is Madonna. Like I'm just not going out any like I will again someday, probably when my kids go to college and I have a midlife crisis.
Oh,
But right now, that kind of experience, and it was so, I mean, she didn't come on till 1 in the morning.
I was
It
gonna
was
say if you're gonna stay past midnight, it's gonna be Madonna because she's gonna make you stay there.
she's gonna make you. And you know what? It when she does, it's really special. And I've had this conversation with so many people. Like I know a lot of people were so angry, for example, during the Madame X tour when she took their phones away and they had to wait. But for me, it was so special. I'm like, wait, you mean actually she took our phones away? And then for 3 hours, a bunch of really cool queer ass people were waiting and socializing and having fun and remembering how wonderful it was when we would go out without cell phones. Like, so to me, the waiting is part of it. We met so many people at Club Confessions. We made new bonds, we danced, we watched wild things happen, we saw celebrities stream in and out. Like it was so special. And then by the time Madonna came in, you're just in some other zone. So I'm grateful to her for giving me a night like that, even though it took me 2 days to recover.
That's not that bad.
No, but yeah, so no, to me, Love Sensation is very special. It's not like in my we'll probably get to like ranking or whatever our favorites.
Oh my God.
But to me, it's the most like clear, just joyful pop song.
Hmm.
It's a generous song. It's obviously was always very Kylie coded. I also love Kylie.
Yeah,
I,
it may be the song on the album that is just like you said, just pure joy. There isn't really much anything else attached to it.
yeah,
It's love
right.
sensation,
There's
good
no dark.
vibration.
Yeah, there's no darkness to it, which is
No.
odd for a Madonna song these days. Like even a Madonna song in the heyday, there was always an underlayer. And I think that's what makes Madonna so interesting as a pop artist when you put her next to a Kylie, who is like pure kind of glitter pop joy. She has delved into some darkness, but for the most part, she's giving you the release of pure joy, and Madonna tends to lace everything with edge.
What
Um,
I love about it too is that, and really the first half of the album does this, it's really setting us up.
yes.
Because if you just listen to it and you don't know what's coming, you don't know what's coming.
No,
and
you
and and I think she's kind of putting us in this really warm, fun vibe, and then she's going to sit us down and have a talk.
that's right. Now I want to say that this little baby had to come say hello because his name is Disco. And one of the reasons his name is Disco is that, well, in addition to the fact that it's a genre of music we all love in our family, is that we celebrated so much. with Kylie's disco album because if I'm right, I
Oh,
believe that album came out the day the election was finally announced. The
oh,
election
was
that
it?
Trump actually lost, the one
Uh-huh.
election we still will talk about in recent history. And so the day that it was announced that Trump lost, we just blasted that album, and then we named disco after that album. And when I met Kylie, I told her that, and she signed her record for all of us and disco, and it made me so.
Oh,
So this
well,
dog is has Kylie's energy in him, and
definitely, and something
yeah,
worth celebrating too.
yeah. So I think like the union of Madonna and Kylie makes so much sense. And in general, if you ask me who my dream Madonna collaborators would be, it would be very like left of center artists. Like
Mhm.
actually on the top of my list was always Stromae. Like I absolutely love him and I grew up in France, so that was
Right.
a dream collab for me. But of the pop artists, Kylie was always the one I wanted. A, because I love her, but also because she's so the like yin to Madonna's yang. They're kind of polar opposites in a way.
Yeah.
And I just want to see what their energies are. And you can tell that when Madonna's with Kylie, whether it was in that Graham Norton interview or on stage at World Pride, she she can't help but respond to Kylie with so much joy. Like she clearly loves her.
Hmm.
And it's
And
so sweet.
yeah, and their relationship and admiration for each other goes back decades.
Yes.
So it made perfect sense. I love Kylie's verses on the collab version of it because there is absolutely a world where this is a Kylie Minogue song.
Yeah.
Here, like it fits into her canon like so easily. It's
Yeah.
perfect.
Absolutely. And I do want to give, I think this is a song because he produces for both of them and has made great records for them in the past. A big shout out to Stuart, who I've been very
Mhm.
lucky to know in my life. And that is a truly kind man and not, everybody who reaches those levels of success in an
Yeah,
industry everybody cares about is as kind. So, you know, we love Stuart Price.
that is a great thing to hear. I love that.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
let's jump to Love Without Words. And when I tell you how much I love the intro to this, because not just the call it trans, call it love, call it,
Yeah.
I love the lyrics. The music is such a great part of this album where she is pulling from so much of her past
Hmm.
in a way that I really love. And this, it's like a twofold homage to me because it reminds me of the score from Marty Supreme last year,
Wait, what? Interesting.
which itself was uh inspired by Desperately Seeking Susan and Thomas Newman.
Wait, real? I did not. This is where your
I had a
expertise
I had a
film. I did not
conversation
know all this about Marty Supreme.
I had a conversation with the composer for Marty Supreme, and it's a great score, and it's all 80s inspired. So and so much of it has those little plink plink plinks that are very 80s Thomas Newman. And so I said directly, I'm like, this felt like Desperately Seeking Susan, and he's just like, I was waiting for somebody to call
Wow.
me on that.
That's so interesting. So wait, are like the Safdie's secret Madonna super fans? Because wasn't Rain in Uncut Gems?
Yeah, I think there could be something really fun there collab wise.
Well, yeah, when I saw Uncut Gems, I remember because also that was the first time I saw Julia Fox, who is Debbie
Yes.
Mason. I mean, she's Debbie. I was like, wait, is that young Debbie? Like,
She's
what
Charlie's Debbie
happened?
Mazer.
Right. Um, wow. Wait, I didn't realize that. Okay, Love Without Words is undoubtedly one of my favorites on the record. I love
Yes.
it.
It's
I first
fantastic.
time I heard it, I was kind of gobsmacked, to be honest. It's so like it kind of demands your attention. It's so a kind of aggressive and um it feels like the manifesto of the album in many ways. If there were a song, I think I Feel So Free was a perfect opener, but if there were another opener, I feel like this could have been it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the piece of the song for me that really stands out is the this is a club, this is a temple of sweat and surrender, peace, and ending in it makes our head turn, which for me is, I don't know why, it's my favorite line in the album. Part of it is
Mhm.
the way she sings it. She has so much charisma in her voice. And sometimes it really just pops out. And I think the way she sings, it makes our head turn is so Madonna. It's like, it just, I love it. And it also, I will have to at some point mention the novel I wrote that pays homage to Madonna, but I wrote a book called Like a Love Story about three teenagers growing up in the 80s, and it's largely about ACT UP and the AIDS activists of that era who I credit with saving my life. But one of the adult characters is the uncle of one of the teenagers who's a person living with AIDS and an ACT UP activist, and he writes these like Queer 101 note cards to them to pass down gay culture. And the card about Madonna talks about how he was there when Madonna was performing Holiday. I can't remember if I said it was a Danceteria, but it could have been. I should reread my own work sometimes. I don't. But what I do remember writing is that when Madonna said um, in Holiday, she uses the word revolution, and that in the song it's about like a turn. But really, what when Madonna says it makes our head turn to me, what she's saying is not just we're dancing. What she's saying is in this club, we see the world through a new light. We turn our heads to see the world from a new perspective. And I think so much of Madonna's work is about forcing us to see the world through new perspectives, considering new communities, new ways of thinking. And she is a revolution in that way. Like she does challenge society. And so I think there's something about that song, and I may be reading too much into it, but I don't think I am. I really think Love Without Words is it's very much like a Madonna manifesto song, which I love. There's a few songs in her career where I'm like, this is her saying what her whole work is about. She's
Yeah,
condensing it into one thought.
it is. It is like an ethos, and then there is the verse of "You are a sister to me, you are a brother to me," and that is the bridge. This song to me is the bridge between the first half and the second half
Yeah.
of the album, because we do then very quickly start to get into the the personal in the past and the history, and what that has meant for her, and what
Yes.
2023 and 24, as we talked about in the first part, everything that happened to her during those
Yeah.
2 years that created what is the second half
Yeah.
of this album.
Of this album. Okay. And I'll correct myself by saying I use the word revolution in my book. Madonna says in Holiday, you can turn this world around. So it's
Yes.
even more literal. It's even more literal. So that was my, like, probably my very Iranian, because Iranians can't get the word revolution out of their mouth. Um,
Oh my god. Uh, that was
Here I
amazing.
am. Yeah, but in Holiday, she says you can turn this world around, and in the book, I say, what does that mean? It's a revolution, but
Mm-hmm.
it's even more of a direct allusion from you can turn this world around to it makes our head turn. She is telling us we can turn, and I mean, my God, look at where we are in the world right now. When she released this album, we need to turn this world around. We need to think of a new way out of whatever the fuck we have been led
Mm-hmm.
into by world leaders, by the powerful, by I mean, we need to go into some communal spaces and figure it out together.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, let's going right from there. Like I said, it's time for her to start getting a little bit personal, and this collaboration on Bizarre was honestly so unexpected, but I love it and it makes perfect sense.
I
It's
I
the
will confess to
it's
not knowing who he was before
Oh,
this.
I was a huge fan. I mean, he
You
was
were. So
like,
I know a lot about like French music, world music. I knew who Stromae was. I know who all the Latin artists she collabs with are.
mhm.
I don't know a lot about EDM and whatever genre. I think he's EDM, right?
Yeah, I mean he is. I mean, he's a DJ. I think his biggest kind of, I don't even want to say claim to fame, but he started so young. He was like 18
Okay.
and became so incredibly huge and worldwide famous. And he was like super, super cute and all of these great things. Uh, but just a really, really good DJ. So when this sort of, I don't want to, it didn't leak because he performed it at one of his shows before it was revealed.
I remember that.
And people were like recording and at the show going, is that Madonna? What is going on? Is this a collab? What is happening? And it was, because it wasn't like the full song. It was just sort of teasing and getting a little bit of lyrics out there. And then it wasn't really until much, well, relatively later, that the real lyrics came in, the refrain, the Sean Penn of it all, because
I
it's
mean,
so
the Sean
specific.
Penn. Could you imagine if someone told you that in 2026 Madonna would write a song about Sean Penn? Wild.
Honestly, I was shocked. I was shocked because
Yeah.
there's something interesting I find about musicians and singers that obviously write all their own songs. There is this impression for the audience that that because somebody is a singer songwriter, that every song is personal
Mhm.
and biographical, and it has to kind of really like truthfully align with their life.
Mhm.
Sometimes I think some artists use it as a weapon against exes and against other people. She is not usually someone that does that, but this song, like the other songs that come later about her family, are kind of perfectly deceptive because at first it feels like she's really kind of dissing him hard,
Mhm.
but it's not, because he does truly, like in Truth or Dare, I think remain the love of her life.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I will confess to not knowing or maybe caring that much about her personal life through the years. Like if she puts it in a song, I care.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't, like I've always felt very connected to her mother because she sung about it in such beautiful ways throughout her career, and so it resonates in a personal way. I've never like followed her love life, her gossip pages, but with Sean, I guess to a certain extent because I grew up in that era,
Mhm.
they were so omnipresent. There was always an interesting and I think it's a very hard thing to talk about because, of course, as Madonna fans, if you read some of the books or rumors of what might have happened, it's very hard to make peace
Yes.
with the potential allegations. And so I have to take what she gives us, um, and trust that she's telling her story her way. I'm
That's
sure if she
exactly
had
what I
gotten
mean.
to
Yeah.
make the biopic, she would have delved deeper into the dynamic of that relationship. But not knowing anything else about their relationship, it's just an amazing song. Like I can't speak much about, I don't know enough about their relationship, but I love I think it's referencing the Eurythmics. I have to think it is, right? It's very, isn't it? Isn't that
Uh
beat Oh Sweet Dreams or
oh, is it?
I don't know. I felt like when
Ooh.
I first heard it, I'm like, it's so 80s. It's so Eurythmics. It's so like do
Yeah,
do 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 do.
true.
It
That's true.
it just felt like she was not only writing about Sean, she was writing in the sound and vernacular of the era where they fell in love and the
Yeah.
music that was probably in the background of their relationship. I mean, that's how I interpreted it.
I love
And
that.
also just like the chorus is so big for her in this state. Like I feel like she doesn't do it, almost feels like a stadium song. Like
That's why having somebody like him as the collaborator here is so cool, because he is, I mean, as an
that's who he is.
EDM
Yeah.
DJ, his whole thing is
Right.
massive stadiums of
Yeah.
rave culture. So
Yeah.
it has that feel. The feel is so huge.
It's
but
huge. Yeah, it's an immense song. It's an immense song. I do love it. I think it's incredible that whatever work she did on the biopic, she clearly decided.
hmm
I connected back to the emotions I felt when I tried to make this project, and I'm now going to put it into what I do best, which is music and craft an album that feels
yeah.
personal. It's so powerful. And I will say, just as a side note, one of the Madonna things I am most excited about is the studio. I love that show. I'm obsessed with, I mean, really, I think the show is such a genius send up of Hollywood, and we both work in Hollywood in different ways. And I just think it gets it so right. And Seth Rogen and his team are so smart, and I cannot wait. I mean, the rumors are that the whole Madonna story is about the failed biopic, and
It is. That's exactly what it is.
I
And then
cannot wait.
obviously
I
having
truly
Julia
can't wait.
Garner in the Confessions film turning into Julia Garner. It's
Genius.
it's trolling at the like highest level of, I don't know.
Genius.
Her sense of humor is so ridiculous. I love it so
It's
much.
that's the thing, and she's leaning into humor too on this album and this
hmm
era. She's willing to poke fun at herself. It's so that's one of the most important lessons I think I learned from Madonna throughout my life is you always have to be willing to both put your whole self out there in the most vulnerable, honest way, and also
Yeah.
be ready to laugh at yourself if it
Yeah.
doesn't land or if you're or disarm people. Um, I mean, when all the Madonna boot camp stuff was happening with all the actresses, I kept being like, well, it's obviously Julia Garner. Like, who else would it be?
hmm
I mean, it can't, why are you making all these other people dance for you? But that said, someday, maybe that's the Safdie Madonna project, a movie
Ugh.
about Madonna boot camp, a
See,
fictional
a movie
movie.
just about the boot camp would be incredible.
Imagine a
Incredible.
fictional movie where, like, now you cast other actresses to play Sydney Sweeney and Julia Gardner and Florence Pugh. And I mean, now how meta is that?
I'm in love with it already.
Except
We should,
Madonna plays herself. Um,
yes, I think we should write it and we'll have to get on that like right
done,
away.
done. Get those Safdies on the phone.
Oh my God. All right, let's talk about one of my absolute favorites, and
Obviously, same.
that is School. Um, the opening of this, again, speaking to her sense of humor, is so cheeky and so funny. Please, someone teach me something I don't already know. Is
Best.
It's the best. It's funny. Yeah, cheeky,
It
cheeky as hell.
it's amazing. It's also really true. I said this in our Confessions Part 1 discussion. She's a nerd. It is one of the things that separates her from so many of her contemporaries, peers, whatever you want to call it.
hmm
I think at a certain point of success, and I'm not even saying it's just about musicians, I think humans at a certain point of success, a lot of humans close up. They stop looking outside. They stop being curious. They've achieved what they need to. However they see the world has proven to be effective. Madonna is not that person. Like, even at her age, she is willing to move to new countries like Portugal and immerse herself in musical traditions she knows nothing about and try to learn new languages. And she's always reading authors and seeing plays and visiting art exhibits and like visiting classrooms of young artists. I mean, that was one of my favorite things she did not long ago in outside London. Like, she's so curious. She's such a model about that. And so I really believe that as funny as it is and as cheeky and just purely joyful it is that she's saying, teach me something I don't already know. She also really means it. It's like and I always say that's who I want to be as I get older, and I am getting older. Is just keep learning. What else? What do I not know? What culture haven't I explored? What author haven't I read? Like, what are young people saying? It's so important. It's okay. I was very nervous when the album was called Confessions 2. I'm just going to say this. I have a weird,
Yes.
obviously, there are some sequels and reboots and things that are good. But in general, I do have a deep theory about our culture at large, which is that this reboot culture we live in, in which like almost, I mean, way too much, too big of a proportion of our mass media is now either a reboot, a sequel, something that's like in a universe that you already know.
Yeah.
It's stopping young people from telling their own stories Because if you hire a young person to just do like a new version of anything from a comic book to a 90s thriller to whatever, and if everything stars like the child of a star who looks exactly like their parent who we loved, and then it's like at a certain point, you're not giving the unique vision of youth and of culture the chance to thrive. And so there was a little piece of me that was like, oh God, Confessions 2, is Madonna going to fall prey to the same thing? And in a funny way, she uses the title Confessions 2 to blow up whatever expectation anyone would have of a sequel, where it is nothing really like the original, in my opinion.
It's
Um,
it really is not.
Nothing. And if anything, I feel like School, which is hands down one of my favorite songs, perhaps my favorite, I don't know. It battles with the next batch of songs.
Yeah, same.
It's so about like always, always demanding the new, the young, and Madonna's often faulted for that. Like she's, I think her critics often are like, oh, she's like, I don't know. I don't even want to
Kind
use
yeah, I know
like
there's
of the
lots.
empire. I mean, that would be the word I would often hear
Yes, there are
associated.
lots of phrases like that.
Right.
Yeah.
But to me, that is people who are not curious, who don't know the power of curiosity, criticizing someone who's willing to do the work. It's like, oh, you call her that. I don't see you going out into young club culture and traveling the world and finding new voices, new places to shine your light on, making people's heads turn in new ways. Like that's what an artist does. That's a true artist, you
Hmm.
know? Yeah, so School to me, hands down, one of the best.
Yes.
It has something to say. The lyrics are fucking amazing. There
Again,
are, I
one
guess, rumors that
wonderfully
it's about
self.
Basquiat. Have you seen all these
Yes.
things? Yeah.
Yes, but it's also, wonderfully self-referential. I'd
Yes.
rather be your lover, making a nice little comeback. She does all the
100%.
vocals on this, all of the all of
I
them,
also
which is
Blind
and Blind
Ambition.
Ambition.
So fun. Blind Ambition was so the first time I heard that I cackled. I
But I
love you.
love I love that she does all the vocals in this because it does, they're obviously being manipulated, but she brings a very low register masculine voice and then has the whole entire chorus. I can make moves on the dance floor, I can make love on a man's floor. That whole section is, oh, say that you're a man but you're not so. Mm.
Oh,
Mm.
it's so good.
Come
I know it's
on.
so good. And I think the modulation of her voice is so cool. It reminded me a little bit of
Yes.
like American Life with Hollywood and some of the stuff she did there with pitching her vocals down.
Yes.
And she tried to be a boy, she tried to be a girl. She's always playing with like how she's presented and it's so fun. Also, School is in Session is just such a I mean, it's just amazing. I'm like, come on. I mean, when we were sending, our kids just went back to school, and I'm just like, this is an anthem. I want like
Absolutely.
I want like notebook commercials to feature School is in Session, and then everyone who hears it in a commercial goes and hears a song and is like, I can make love on a man's floor.
Yeah, exactly. Get to the next part and like, wait a minute. Oh, I love that. I love it,
Uh,
love it.
yeah.
All right. Um
Oh,
okay, here we go. uh there is, yeah, there is something about fragile.
Fragile, Fragile, probably my favorite song.
I think it is my favorite because
Yeah, tell me.
it's such a, it's like Bizarre. It's like what we're gonna talk about in a little bit with Betrayal too,
Hmm.
where she's talking about people that really did wrong her, and she's coming at this song about her brother Christopher, who was, I mean, really like her closest confidant and relationship next to probably Debbie Mazar for the majority of her life. and he was a pretty broken person and wrote a tell-all about her. And instead of, finding a way to sort of get back at him, she finds the path to such an incredible amount of love and forgiveness. And
Yeah.
it's something that comes with age. Again, it's this entire album is in the shroud of the amount of loss that she had in that short period of
Mhm.
time, including him. And it just
Yeah.
it's really on another level for her.
Yeah. I agree. I think it is this string of songs is my favorite. School, Fragile, My Sins Are My Savior probably being the top three on the album for me. I mean, first of all, I was shocked by how emotional I was when Christopher died. I think he wasn't someone I'd spent a lot of my elder years thinking about. But then when I heard the news that he was gone, I just realized what a big part of my childhood he was. He was always there. I mean, the thing that made me a Madonna fan was seeing the Lucky Star video on Much Music. I became instantly obsessed, and I think his presence was a big part of that because he was very gay looking and cute. And by Madonna's side, I didn't know he was her brother at that point, but I think he kind of communicated a queerness that beamed out to us. And then he was always by her side. And, I saw Blonde Ambition twice. I saw Girly Show. Those are my top two Madonna tours. Like he was so much of the vision of what she did. And, as an Iranian, you have your Italians do it better t-shirt. And we often say Iranians do it better in our city. And I should have had put that on a t-shirt by now. Someday I will. But
Yes.
the Iranian, I always like Keep It Together is one of my favorite Madonna songs. And, we were raised very close to our family and cousins and always traveling in these big groups and I felt like that desire she had to both individualize herself from the group but also hold on to those relationships, and it does seem she's still close to her sisters and
Hmm.
to her father, and I think she cares about family in that way. And so I think the Christopher relationship is so core to her in so many ways. And then the other thing is, as an older gay person in this world, I've lost a lot of people
Yeah.
to addiction and suicide, and I don't know. I actually don't know what ultimately Christopher died of. I probably should, but what I know is he was a complicated person. And when I first heard the song, I just bawled because it could have been about my relationship with my first boyfriend who's gone and who changed my life in so many, like, I don't think I would be a writer if not for him. I wouldn't have come out. He forced me to come out to my parents. He was a life-changing force in my life for a lot of good and then a lot of bad. He was, you know,
Yeah.
struggled a lot in his life and hurt a lot of people and did all the bad things that, many addicts and mentally ill people do in their lives. Even though he was so full of love, and when I heard Fragile, I just couldn't help but hear like it's a very specific grief. There's a grief that's about like mourning somebody who you just had pure love for. And then there's a grief for mourning somebody you loved so deeply who also hurt you so deeply. And the song was full of that. It's so aching and bittersweet. And I don't know, that's a particular kind of grief. I feel like nobody talks about that much. We don't even like grief is hard to speak about, right? Like, but I feel like that's such a specific thing. And I mean, when I heard the line about like you had a nervous breakdown, it's so like jarring. It's just those two words are so like it kind of pops you out of whatever trance you're in. And you're like, wait, what?
Hmm.
Um, it's but she clearly loved him so much, just like I clearly loved my, first boyfriend who hurt me and did so many awful things in his life after um we broke up, and it's just so vulnerable. And I think, I don't know, to me, I don't know. Now that we're talking about it, I'm like, oh, fuck, it is my favorite song on the record. It's just so good.
It is, and it's sort of like what we were talking about earlier, there's kind of this expectation for singer-songwriters to be very biographical about
Mhm.
like every song that like, but sometimes it just necessitates this, you know, her revealing that right after she got off the phone with him before he died, she knew that it was close, and this is how this is like really something she had to do.
Yeah.
And I,
Yeah. And she also like she goes back to a time before he hurt her,
yes,
before they separate. I mean, when she says like as children oh God, I can't, I'm gonna cry thinking about like as children we would dream that, we'd try to run away and be free, like and then, earlier on the album, didn't she say like freedom's just a token? I mean, she's playing with these ideas of like wanting freedom, realizing freedom is so hard to have. She probably did feel so free as a young person with Christopher running around New York. Like when he came, right? Because he
yes,
joined her in New York,
yeah,
she probably felt this piece of home came, and then they created so much together. Oh, it's beautiful. And then that piece about how he came to her in a dream or I've that is so that happened to me not long ago with Damon, my first boyfriend, where I really did feel like I had a moment, and I'm not. I consider myself a spiritual person. I don't like I don't know what I believe in. I don't think I can define the unknown, but I know that sometimes I feel like he's there still, because we shared such important things together and lived
mm-hmm.
together when we were young and formative, and everything was so evocative, and we dreamed together. And sometimes, yeah, I'm dreaming or I close my eyes and I'm like, oh, and you feel it. When I heard that lyric, like I said on the last one, I was on a plane when the album came out and I just started crying. Like I'm like, yeah, I feel that
Yeah.
those we
I,
loved and lost come to us. And I
it
don't
is
know.
that's funny. I often am reminded of my very first boyfriend in high school, and it was a secret relationship only over the summer, and we were like 16 to like to
Yeah.
17, and this was a long time ago. 35 years ago, 40 years ago. um and then he would go on to marry a woman and
Wow.
have 5 kids, but he named his first kid Eric. And
Oh,
many years later, because didn't have any contact with him, messaged me to tell me that. And
wow.
I was just like, I don't even know what to do with this information. And it's
Yeah.
wild because every once in a while, just this week, he like liked something on Facebook. So it just kind of it keeps coming back around.
Yeah.
And what's kind of great about it, and what I really like to try and make this comparison like we're trying to do, is that she's taking all of the positive things that those things at the beginning as the driver
Hmm.
for their relationship. So when I think about him, I think about how kind of fun and great it was to have a secret romance over the summer that
Yeah.
nobody knew about. I don't know. She's doing something here that really is so wonderfully evocative and
No, she is. And I
transformational.
think the refrain of "You've been hurt before"
Mm,
is both very specific to Christopher and to their relationship, and also to me, like I think Madonna really understands gay life and history and culture. And I think she, in a way, and maybe I'm completely reading into it, is acknowledging that despite being siblings who ran away together and tried to be free together, they were different. And he was a gay man at a time, because I was a gay man at the same, or I was a gay kid at the same time. Like at a time where it was immensely difficult. And, the AIDS crisis was terrifying and homophobia was way more intense than it is now. And there was so much shame and so much stigma and so much to work through. And I think about that so much with not just my first boyfriend who's gone, but so many. I mean, one of my closest high school friends who was gay died by suicide. One of our next door neighbors, who was a fellow writer who was gay, died by suicide. And that's just a handful. I mean, I could list so many of my generation. And I always said, like, after the stigma of those years of the AIDS crisis, a lingering epidemic of shame lasted in our community, which is why so many people who did survive those years ended up killing themselves. And they've been hurt. And like I often wonder, like, what is it that some of us manage to like figure out how to survive and eventually, like, I can't believe I have a husband and the most amazing two kids and this life that I
Right?
never thought I would have, right? I never, if you had asked
Yes.
me when I was a teenager what I would do at this age, and someone did, I remember for an assignment, I said I would be dead. Like
Hmm.
there was no aging in our community. It was like you kind of accepted that this fear you had in you was going to someday manifest into an exit. And I don't know what tools gave me this ability to be here when so many of my loved ones and friends aren't. And I think Madonna gets it. I mean, I think she knows his hurt and she's acknowledging his hurt. And in doing so, I think acknowledging the hurt of a community that for all of us who saw Christopher as like, it's funny because we'll always say as Madonna fans, like, oh, we want her to be the little boy from Open Your Heart, right? But it's like, I actually wanted to be Christopher in a way. Like, I wanted to be her brother, the right hand, the creative partner, the one who got to be like, I'm going to dream up a tour for you and pull in all these he loved visual art. He was the one who introduced her to a lot of the painters she loved. Like, he was an avatar for many of us in the gay community. And so I don't know. Yeah, love, favorite
Yeah.
song, so moved.
100%. Oh
She still
gosh.
has everything in her that makes us love her, and this song is exactly why.
Yeah. All right. My sins are my savior. You mentioned
My
Stromae
other
before,
favorite.
and here we are. We
I
are we are re-entering the erotica era here.
I cannot tell you. I
My
said to a
God.
friend, this song was engineered in a lab for my specific tastes. It is utterly bizarre. Like, I grew up in France. I'm obsessed with French culture and music. I love Stromae. I love like her little French spoken word in Paradise Not For Me, which is one of my top five Madonna songs ever. Um, like when I first heard this song, I loved Army of Lovers when I was growing up. I don't know if you were an Army of Lovers person, but
Yeah.
yeah, but like this, she's basically like not just sampling them. I mean, she's singing over their track. Like, I love Belle du Jour is like one of my a formative film for me, which she somehow references. She's talking about like reading Marquis de Sade. I mean, when I was listening to the lyrics, I'm like, what is happening? And then Stromae comes in. I don't know, this song, these are my top three songs. This string is just too much. School into Fragile into My Sins does me in.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
the
find this song exhilarating. It's so sexy. It's like,
yes.
um, and then like I think Stromae's verse, I don't know how many, American fans take the time or you whatever, English speaking fans
Mhm.
take the time to translate what he's saying, but I think the last line he says about it's basically like love is the strongest armor, you are always its soldier. It's like again, it's a constellation of like the Madonna manifesto for me, which is to me she is kind of represents the power of pure love, but she often uses it as armor. Like there's a hardness to her, but at the same
Yes.
time the core of it is pure love. She's always preached acceptance for all, love for all, but she does it with this hard shell that's allowed her to survive where her contemporaries didn't. And I don't know, I fucking love this song.
And that phrasing reminds me of her Joan of Arc
Yes,
and
100%.
how she can view herself and how she is viewed. So that yeah, I just Mm,
And it's interesting now that we're talking about it coming off of Fragile, like because with Madonna, everything's intentional and
yeah.
her great albums tell a true story. Um, I think like what a beautiful sentiment after Fragile and You've Been Hurt Before and contemplating why someone doesn't make it in a world that tries to break you down, to question why did I make it? And I think so much of why she made it is her sins are her savior. And it's like often it's the things that people tell you are wrong about you that give you the tools to survive. And I do think that, in our own way, because we're always looking at work and how it relates to us, like so much of what I did when I was young was, you know, standing up or challenging what my culture, my family, that what the expectations of me were. And in a weird way, working through all that was the thing that made me so strong. That was probably the
Hmm.
survival. And so with Madonna too, it's like she is strong. Like this woman is, she will survive anything. And the world has thrown so much at her. And I've always said like the reason people dislike her so much is because they can't break her. They want power over her and they just can't get it. Like, right?
Well, I mean, like her famous words, the most controversial thing I've ever done is stick
Stick
around.
around. The best,
But
best quote ever.
it really, really is. And in context with that speech was absolutely incredible. I look at, because the the staging of this song is so evocative of the erotica bedtime stories era. I also think conceptually that my sins are my savior is the sister lyric to absolutely no regrets,
Oh, interesting.
because to your point, and I think to hers in this, it is all of those things, those mistakes, those wild moments that have created her, you,
Mhm.
me, and got us to this point. So how could you regret the things that have brought you to this great place, or to a
Yeah.
place that you never thought you would be?
Right. Well, it's the butterfly. I mean, if someone asks you to change a piece of your past, like I might be tempted, but I would never
Yeah.
do it because if
Yeah.
you like where you are, which I think Madonna does, and I
Mm-hmm.
do, and I bet you do,
Mm-hmm.
you can't. You can't pull out any of the pain or the hurt or the sins or the this because they all led you to the place you are now. And she is an enlightened person. And though sometimes like it's interesting in song, I think she always expresses herself in her best at her best. Like when I heard that podcast interview she did not long ago
Oh my
with
God.
Jay Shetty, I was very worried. I was happy that she had the spiritual core she needs to survive, but the way that she phrased some things were not,
Mm-hmm.
they weren't phrased in a way that I feel like communicated what I think she wanted to. And there were, even with the Christopher piece of that interview, I was like, oh God. Um, but then in song, she somehow manages all the warmth, all the complexity, all the love, and that's why she's a true musical genius. She knows how to craft a song that gets at everything in a way that sometimes like longer text and interview can't do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I
And
can't believe I'm saying this, but I do have to go to work, so I think we should go next.
I love it. We're gonna
We're
have a
not doing
part
our thing.
three.
No, no, no. I have like 20 minutes, but
All
like we
right.
said, 3 songs. But I
Okay.
talk
Yes.
about
Let's.
my
All
sins
right.
are my savior forever. And I do want to say, if you are listening to this and you haven't seen Belle du Jour, my God,
Yes.
Madonna is referencing it so that you can go watch it. Your mind will be blown.
School is in session with this album.
School is in session. Also, listen to some Satie. She's in her French mode here.
Oh, I
We love
yes.
Satie.
Oh my God, I
We love
love that.
Seti. And a quick shout out to Tori Amos, who sampled the same song on a beautiful song called Battle of Trees. And Madonna and Tori
Hmm.
are my
Uh,
goddesses. So to have
uh,
them both sample the same classical piece is quite thrilling for me.
okay, let's try and get through these last three songs, which are absolutely going to be brutal.
Brutal.
Um, yes, Betrayal. Okay, so she has sung about her mother and her father quite a bit, but the stepmother, my goodness. I don't
Yeah.
think I was really expecting this. It's, but like the Christopher song, there is there's the moment that is, you know, I think that people kind of obviously grab onto, you'll never take my mother's place.
Yeah.
Uh as a pretty savage and not really, necessarily cruel, but just like a pretty, it's a condemnation.
Yeah.
And her father is still alive. Um
Oh, Silvio. That man,
but
that poor man. I mean, that poor man. Two wives,
95, my
two
goodness.
sons, but I mean, imagine the loss. Like, oh,
It's, yes. But yeah, like with Fragile, this becomes less about here's the mistakes that you made and how you wronged me. And here is Madonna talking about the parts of her that she didn't live up to make that relationship work.
that is my interpretation too. I actually did have a discussion with someone who didn't like this song because he felt it was kind of cruel and unnecessary. And I actually thought I mean, that's what makes Madonna such a brave artist, is she's willing to go to places of cruelty, in order to talk about what we often don't. And I do think Madonna cares about forgiveness, and I'm so happy she got to forgive Christopher before he left, and I think that probably was
Yeah.
spiritually very important to her. I don't know that she forgave her stepmother.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that's a more complicated relationship. But I also think, like, I always read, to me, the most savage lyric is "You will not be mentioned." You will not be mentioned, and the way she delivers it is so intense. Um, but I always felt like when she's singing those lines, "You will not be mentioned," and "You'll never take my mother's place," it's almost like she's going back to that core of the little girl who
Mm-hmm.
resented this woman, which is very real. But then the lyrics that are more moving to me are about, now we're dancing, yes, we're dancing together forever.
Yeah.
And then it's using dance. I mean, an album that's about the power of dance and the power of being in a club and, this temple of sweat and surrender where you experience love without words, is she is kind of saying, like, despite all the betrayal and all the resentment, we will someday be dancing together forever, and we will be spinning. There is forgiveness. It's almost like a sense of even though we couldn't figure it out in this life, we will someday be dancing together forever. And I don't know,
Yeah,
maybe
and
I'm
it's,
interpreting it the wrong way, but that's how
no,
I
I
see
don't
it.
I don't think so at all. But it is also not funny, but intentional to open this song with those lyrics. I'm the
Yeah.
writer, you will not be mentioned. This is a
Yeah.
song about her. The whole rest of it is exactly that.
Yeah.
But, beginning with, it's because you lost your faith, and getting to the end where she says, it's because I lost my faith.
Yes. Yeah.
She's trying to close a lot of what were open-ended loops,
Yeah.
uh with her relationships and life. And oh,
Yeah.
it's a,
No, it's really beautiful. It's really,
yeah.
really also probably one of my favorites on the album. It's so unique and unexpected. It feels kind of classical and orchestral, but also really like sharp. Like I just, yeah, I
It's,
love
I
it.
mean,
It's like a movie. Honestly, it's a mini movie. That's what it feels like to me. It's cinematic. It tells a story. It's cinematic. You could make an entire movie about this relationship between a daughter and her stepmother over the years, and I would watch it.
yes. And by the same token that the Love Without Words opening reminded me of Marty Supreme's score, the settee used here and the context of a family relationship reminded me of Succession,
Oh, interesting.
because Nicholas Britell's score for Succession is very much pulled from Satie. very
Fascinating. I never thought about
intentionally.
that, but you're right. Yeah, it is very Seti. It is.
And I love that. So there's something going
Did
on.
Madonna watch Succession?
I think so. I think so. I think
She's
she's
fascinating, though. She famously says she doesn't watch TV and then sang about it and Nobody Knows Me, which might be my favorite Madonna song ever. I know I'm very weird. People are going to be like, his favorite Madonna songs are Nobody Knows Me and Paradise, not for me, but that's who I
no, but
Um,
those are
but then
beautiful.
she like takes an entire spoken word piece of Peaky Blinders and turns it into lyrics. And I don't search, I find I'm like, do you watch TV or do you not watch
I
TV?
know someone's not just sending you these lyrics.
Like, how did that Peaky Blinders
Rocco's just texting
walk?
or emailing her.
No, I love her. Okay. Obviously, I'm now gonna get us to the next song, but like to
Yes.
go from this song about her fraught relationship with her stepmother, how much the hurt of losing her own mother closed up her heart and made her unable to find her faith with this woman. She then gives us a song about a mother-daughter relationship. And I will say, it's always very hard for me when artists bring their children into songs or work. You know, it can be very cringy. And this is not. This is fucking amazing. I don't know how. I was so nervous when I heard Madonna and Lola were doing a song together. I shouldn't have been because Lola's music is great. I actually love it,
I do too.
but it's so moving. And I guess it's because they were willing to go there. They were willing to go into the place of complexity, hurt, what it means to live in the shadow of a mother who is so big, what it means to have a daughter thinking you can protect her and realizing that your fame and your who you are is going to put a spotlight and a target on her and make her, observed in a way that is not healthy for young children. I mean, it's beautiful. They're really going there.
This this is the song for me. I've
Interesting.
I've
Oh,
never
wow.
I've never been able to listen to it without I don't even I can't even talk about it without crying. I can't listen to it without absolutely just being absorbed by it. It's a beautiful song, just
Yeah.
purely from arrangement and vocals is gorgeous. But I mean, invoking Little Star and Butterfly, which takes us right back to Ray of Light and specifically to Drown World and that video,
Love, I know.
which is also, about Diana and the pressures of fame and just it's the kind of full circle a moment that this album is so full of,
Yeah.
so many of these. And she had a fractured relationship with Rocco that she had to fix. um but with Lola it had kind of seemed like that was mostly pretty much like there and intact,
Yeah.
but there was clearly more there than anybody knew.
Yeah.
Um, but she's done a lot of Price of Fame songs,
Yeah.
many, many of them. This though,
Well,
oh
this is also really different because it's not price of fame for herself. It's price of
yeah,
fame for a
that's what I
human
mean.
being who didn't choose it. And that is like,
Yeah,
to me, that's the deepest revelation of the song. You did not choose to have Madonna as your mother. Like that is a lot to put on a child. And in good and hard ways. Like I wouldn't know what it's like to have a mother who's this famous, this larger than life, this in demand by others, how the attention is taken away from you, but also then put on you, and you're analyzed by the media, by fans, by I don't know. I again, I don't know that much about Madonna's personal life. It's not something I tend to like engage in, but it makes me so happy that her children seem to love her and seem to be by her side, and that no matter what difficulty they had, which of course they had, we all have difficulty with parents and children, and that's just part of the family dynamic, but the love there. I mean, I always feel that same way about my parents, and I'm very open because I write very semi-autobiographical books. Like being gay in the Iranian community in my generation was unheard of, and I challenged a lot of my culture and my family by living the life I live. And I have some resentments, but mostly I have so much love. I have so much respect. Like for all of the difficulty, it's like I look at my parents and I'm like, wow, you were willing to grow with me. You were willing to, escape a country, settle in four different countries by the time I was 10, always working to give me a good life. And I just feel like you feel that from Madonna's kids, that like for whatever difficulty her fame and her personality and just her might have put on them, there's a love and respect, and they figure it out. And the song is such I hope it helps others who have, you know, difficulty with their children get back to that. Because one thing that really alarms me about Western culture is I have, this has become a real trend in my life lately. So many people I know don't speak to their families anymore, and not for reasons that I think are deserve that. Like I understand if your family is abusive or if they don't make you safe. There's so many reasons not to, but like the number of people I know who are like, I don't speak to my family because of some political belief or because of and I'm like, well, but wait, like, and similarly, people who have judged me and really like actually stopped talking to me when they realize that I'm still very close to members of my family who are conservative, because most Iranians are. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what is your expectation that I'm going to not speak to my family, to the only people who truly know me, who I traveled to four countries with by the time I was 10, trying to find a home? Like, I now can't pick up the phone and tell them I love them? Like, I don't, what world is that? Like, what world do we want where we can't work through these divisions and these familial relationships? And so, again, going back to keep it together, like, I do think family is important to Madonna. I think she's always had that. And that's one reason, like, that Italianness, I think Iranians love her. It's a thing. I'm telling you, it's a thing. It's so funny. Like, I did a book reading in London this summer with a author of a book called The Ayatollah's Gaze, which is a memoir of being gay in Iran. And Madonna's all over the book. Madonna's all over my work. And I asked about like, why do we care so much about her? And I think in many ways I say in like a love story, the opposite of shame is Madonna. And I think it's a lot because our culture, she represents something, a freedom for our culture. But it was funny because someone in the audience who was British, a white British man, raised his hand and said, I visited Tehran like a decade ago. And I went to a party that was all gay, and what was blasting all night? Madonna. And it just made me laugh because I'm like, but I think part of what we love about her is that you feel that sense of loyalty to culture and family, and that you work through shit together. You don't stop talking to each other. You don't shut the door. Like whatever difficulty her and Lola had, it got them to a closer place, not to division, not to isolation. And so much of this album is also about not isolating. Everything is about going outside. In Love Without Words, she says we have to go outside. Like she is saying you have to keep working through shit with people. You cannot just sit and isolate yourself from love and conflict and all of it.
Yeah, I think, I mean, it doesn't take a therapist for me to know that I think the reason I'm kind of really attached to this song is that for my entire life, my mother's been my very closest confidant and best friend, and we are currently estranged.
Sorry.
We live in the same town 5 minutes from each other,
Wow.
and we do not speak.
I'm sorry.
And I know how much of that is my responsibility. So I hear this and
Well,
I want I want it to be different.
yeah.
And
Well,
sometimes it takes time to figure out how
of
to
course.
to do that, and that relationships do change over time, that
Yeah.
it does have to transition sometimes into something else. So
Well, and everything's
I
a
don't know.
journey. Like the album is a testament to. Some relationships you're estranged and you come back together at the end, like her and Christopher, and some you don't,
Yeah.
like her and her stepmother, and some you work through in this life like her and Lola, and you figure it out and you're closer than ever and you get to feel that love on this in this life on this earth. But, you know, everyone has to ultimately, I really believe in non-judgment and in real liberal values means you give people the privilege of having their own experience. And so if some people figure out how to be close to those who may have hurt them or disagree with them, that's great. But and you don't judge them for it. And if others have to make a different choice, then that's their choice. What bothers me most, I suppose, is the judgment we place on those for making personal choices in their
Sure.
relationship. But if you're saying that it matters to you, then maybe what this song and this album, which clearly if this song is the one that moves you most,
Yeah.
will help you get to that place of figuring out your side of it. And that's another piece too, is you can only control your side, right? I mean,
Yeah. And you know, honestly, it would not be the first time that a Madonna song has not been instrumental in a familial relationship.
yeah,
I when when my mom and brothers split from my abusive father, from we like literally left in the middle of the night to go live with my grandparents, and my grandmother wasn't fully grasping how bad it was,
yeah.
and I I played uh Oh Father and showed her the video, and that was the key
Wow.
that helped her understand.
That's incredible. That's incredible. And that look like that in many ways, I think Madonna was instrumental in my family dynamics too, because I loved her at starting at age 7, and I made my
Yeah.
parents take her to see me at age 8 with the Virgin tour, and then I made my parents take me again at age 13 with Blonde Ambition. And as adults, they've actually gone to see Madonna without me. They went to the Virgin tour without me, and I'm like, oh, I succeeded. I am such a success of a son. But I think Madonna gave us as a family the language to talk about certain things we couldn't have otherwise talked about. And she set the stage for a coming out that would happen way later than the Virgin tour. But I think by the time I came out to my parents, there were certain things that Madonna gave us in the shared experience of listening to her and going to see her in concert together that really helped. And I think she did that for a lot of people. And art does that, art connects us. And so it's beautiful to
Yeah.
know that Oh Father
Yeah.
had impact. And I think this song
Yeah.
will probably have that impact. And it speaks to a depth in the work that is so far beyond like what people would consider superficial dance music. I mean, this is the threshold she is talking about, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
you're crossing into a place of looking at your relationships from a deeper lens of love and hurt and going beyond the top layer of emotions into the
Yeah.
mud.
Just freeing yourself to be able to access that,
Yeah, yeah,
allowing yourself to access that.
yeah.
Well, it's time to close with the closer. And for me, of all the transitions from song to song on this album, which I think are so beautiful and fluid,
Yeah.
the transition of the end of the test to the sounds of New York
Mm.
are unmatched. This is,
Yeah.
I love being able to say, this is something I've never heard from her before. And you can say that on every single album in
Yeah.
a way that is so exciting when you've been a fan of an artist for 40 years and they can do something that is surprising. And I just have never heard this kind of, I don't know, it's like Joni Mitchell meets Beach House.
I love that. I love that. I
It's
mean, I
just,
kind of went back a little bit to Lou Reed and because we talked about the
yeah,
interpolation on the wild side. There's a very like almost like Lou Reed, Velvet Underground,
Hmm.
Nico, like, but yes, Joni Mitchell, who was obviously one of her biggest inspirations, as she has said.
Yeah.
It's
I just
so beautiful. I would never ever I will never be one of those fans of an artist who wants to like demands what they should do next. Like I want Madonna to do whatever the fuck she wants. Madonna is at her best when she does what she wants. So if Madonna wants to do something different, so be it. I will just say this song is what I've always wanted from Madonna. I have always dreamed that someday she would make a whole album of just stripped back, vulnerable ballads. I love a Madonna ballad.
mm,
Um, and but not in a way that we've heard from her before, like figuring out what is the sonic embodiment of that for her. And I think this is the song. I like dreamed of this song. I mean, it is perfect. It's so aching. It feels like reconnecting to the past and to your childlike self. And the way that she talks about herself is so moving. And oh, I mean, it just makes me cry. Like, and also I was a Lower East Side girl, like I went to college in New York. The Lower East Side is where we partied. We were always on St. Mark's Place back when it wasn't full of Starbucks and Kmart's and wherever the fuck. I think Kmart's gone. I mean, I've lived through so many iterations of like late
exactly.
stage capitalism. Like, but back when it really was like drag queens and Patricia Fields and Stingy Lulus and it was all counterculture and there was no technology and oh, I love it. And when she says like Lower East Side boy, I wasn't meant for you, like her
It's
voice and just like realizing that you had this moment in your past that you thought you were meant for, but actually you moved on and
yeah. It's
ugh.
it's why going from a song with and about her daughter into the period of her life where she was beginning her career.
Yeah.
I just don't know a better transition than that. But it's I don't want to say that it's sad exactly, but
I think it kind of is sad, but
it
in a
is
way,
very sad because she's
you know what
she's
the
she's
saddest
she's also talking about everything that she's been talking about in the whole album, and that's loss. That's everything fades away. There.
but this is the thing that makes me saddest, and then I think the saddest thing really is that I'm gonna have to go because I have to drive to work. This in the song, she says, everything fades away except for you. Everything fades away except for you. And at the end, she just says, everything fades away. And the you, of course, is herself. And she's basically saying in this album that has now dealt with the grief of lost love, death, the loss of a brother. I mean, all of it. She's invoked Martin Burgoyne, the loss of that era. And then she's ending with everything fades away. And she cuts out the except for you. And she's accepting that she will fade away. Someday, Madonna will be gone. Someday, we will all be gone. Someday,
Mhm.
the memory of Madonna, the bigness of her will fade. She will become, time is time. Like, she will become history in a way that
Yeah.
we all will. And Um, it's deep, it's sad, it's beautiful. I think she is spiritual enough to be doing that work of like she's grappled now with her own mortality
Yeah.
and it's very sad and very moving and I'm so such a weird thing to say I'm proud of Madonna. I was literally about to say I'm so proud.
Right?
I mean, what a bizarre thing. Like we all think of her as like our sister. I'm just but I am. I'm so proud of her for being willing, even like Madonna's always had the worst critics since 1983. Like she's just been
Sure.
loathed, equally loathed and loved, obviously, because she's so successful. But like lately, the critics have been so awful. I mean, just thinking back to that Grammys appearance and just
Yeah.
all the, like stupidity on social media and the harshness and I'm so proud that despite this spotlight on her and how cruel people can be, she is willing to just put herself out there so vulnerably and say, no, I will not let you change me. And that means the defiant part of her, but it also means the vulnerable part of her. She will not let people take away her vulnerability and that little girl inside. She still has this like little girl in her. And in this song, it comes out and it's beautiful. And I hope we can all just keep looking to her as a model of how to stay both strong and keep that hard shell around ourselves that we need, but also that if we don't stay vulnerable, then what's the point? Like,
Yeah,
why are we here if we're not
very much
living
so.
fully in our emotions?
Yeah.
So,
I kind of like to look at the album conceptually as one single night,
yeah.
going out to the club at 10 o'clock, dancing, drinking too much, having those moments of regret at 3 in the morning where you start
Mm,
contextualizing your history and your past. And then we go into the early morning of that
yeah.
next day at like 6 o'clock, and there's
Right.
the hustle and bustle of the day, and we begin again.
Yeah.
Mm.
And on that note, the hustle of my day begins.
Yes.
I
Abby,
drive
thank you
to the
so much
valley.
for doing this with me. This has been
I
so wonderful.
genuinely, I love nothing more than talking about Madonna, especially with you.
It's it's
I
been
mean, it's the best.
wonderful.
It's the
And
best.
I think we'll have so much more to talk about in the coming months and years with her.
We'll be back.
Yes.
We'll be back. She's gonna come again, and we will have to.
Mm-hmm. Club Confessions is coming.
Please come in.
Please
Um,
come in.
I adore you. I
I
adore
love you.
Madonna. I adore this life. May we all live like this album.
Exactly. Thanks,
Yeah.
Abdi.
Bye. I'm going.
Bye.